had gotten so amused by some of the comments that he's been making in recent days leading up to this election. So they had to just take away his Twitter from him. You know, he had no access to Twitter. And of course, President Barack Obama was saying jokingly that if you can't control your words on Twitter, your opinions on Twitter, then how will you be able to control the nuclear codes or even handling the big job of becoming a U.S. president? But that aside, definitely we know how these social media platforms can be very, very powerful and important, and when it comes to getting messages across, you know, because so many people all around the world are definitely reading. They will definitely pick up these messages, and you know, it travels so fast that whatever information is sent out, you know, most of the time you tend to believe some of these things. But really, as it is, we're still depending. Of course, everyone would definitely want to still depend on what is coming out from the news sources, the Newswise, the reporters, journalists, you know, media organizations from around the world who are actually covering this election. So at this point, we really can't depend on whatever is being said by any individual at that on Twitter. We have to stay with the important messages coming out from the mass media, the foreign media, and of course other Newswise that are covering this event. Temitope.
Well, Ayotunde, I'll say you've addressed half of the question I wanted to ask, because you've talked about the social media, but then I actually wanted to ask what has been the role of the traditional media in the conduct of these elections, voting patterns and stuff like that.
Yes, it's been very, very important. It's been very powerful. I mean, it's been able to help the voters, even non-voters alike, to really keep tabs, keep themselves updated on what actually is going on as we speak in terms of the election, the process, the campaigns, you know, the several months of campaigns of the two candidates, even up till now, where the results are being collated in this U.S. presidential election. A lot of people definitely have been informed. Some of these messages, of course, coming from the media, the well-trusted ones, of course, where people can definitely get updated and get information. And I can tell you, even now as we speak, you know, it's been buzzing. You know, the social media has been buzzing with loads and loads of information. So they've really had a huge role to play, definitely in this U.S. election. And I can tell you, even afterwards, we'll still be seeing more coming from them as well. So it's been a wonderful experience, definitely, from the social media. You can't really roll them out at events like this in historical occasions that is happening right now. So they've been very, very up to speed and up to date. Charles?
Thank you very much, Ayotunde, for that update on the situation in Washington, D.C., and of course the perspective across the United States of America. Well, certainly it has been, and we will be returning to you when, well, should I say, at the appropriate time. Thanks a lot.
Very well, Charles.
Our correspondent, Ayotunde Balogun in Washington, D.C. Well, while we were talking, of course, results coming in at the moment indicate that the results from 28 states are out. We'll be looking out for the specifics. I mean, it's going to be quite a list, reeling out 28 of them. So let's just compress it to say it's 28 states now. And for the Electoral College vote, it's Donald Trump, 150, and Mrs. Hillary Clinton, 109. And so still a slight lead for Mr. Trump.
So, how do you feel about that result?
Because there are no surprises yet. Donald Trump is winning the states that he is expected to win, the red states that are coming in. You know, the major, the battlegrounds are not coming in yet. So Pennsylvania is still there. You still have Michigan, you have Florida, North Carolina. So, Iowa, you see all those states in there. Ohio. So all those red states coming in, there are no surprises. Calculation is he's still going to get about maybe 90 more to hit about 230, 234. And that unless, if you look at the calculation, what the polls are saying is he must win all the battleground states and still be able to flip one of those states. And that is, it means he has a very narrow route to 270. And that is the hope of the Democrats tonight.
Well, you seem to be putting a lot of hopes in what the polls are saying.
Yes.
But can we, just deviate a bit and talk about what happened with Brexit? The polls were saying that Britain was not going to leave.
But let me tell you why I put my hopes in the polls. I studied 7 polls, 7 of them, and these reputable polls: New York Times, 538.com, Huffington Post, Washington Post, ABC. Look, if all those 7 polls are going to be wrong, then something is definitely wrong. Now, the Brexit issue is kind of different. The difference between them was about 1.5 points by the time they're voting. I know it's a general voting thing and stuff. And some people look at it and say, well, we're going to win. And it didn't go up. You see, but we are talking about state-by-state polls that, I'm not saying they cannot be wrong, but the likelihood of all of them being wrong, to me, that means if that happens, there will be no polling industry any longer in the United States.
A lot of surprises. There have been lots of surprises, but the biggest surprise of them all being the fact that Donald Trump is where he is now. During the primaries, of course, you had your own suspicions. You've actually made that very clear. But then, during the primaries, when the race started, none of the polls gave him a chance of an ice cube in hell.
But you have to look at that as those polls are party-based polls.
Beyond that, excuse me.
So I will not compare that. I'm not saying polls cannot be wrong, but again, traditionally in the United States, when you look at polls and exit polls, and you have 7 during the Obama-Romney thing. In fact, what separated them was about 2 points. With what is it called? The one with the contested election with Bush.
Okay.
He was
Bush and
Al Gore.
Al Gore.
Al Gore was behind, but he won the popular vote, and he lost the electoral. So you have to look at those historical. What else are you going to use as measurement? As per history.
In any case, my contribution is this. In this election, in American election, until the battleground states
come in,
you cannot conclusively say this will be the winner. The reason is this: the battleground states have, these are states you don't know whether they will go Republican or they will go, so it is 50-50 chance. And they have a reasonable number of votes. Considering that the total electoral college votes are 538, that is 435 House of Reps, 100 senators, that's 535, plus 3 from Washington, D.C. So that takes care of the 50 states plus Washington, D.C. That's 538. So whichever contestant that gets to 70 wins. And in getting this to 70, there are states over the years from history that are Republican. Some of them are Democrats. So it is taken for granted that all these states will go for Republican. All these ones will go for Democrat. Then these ones that are not, you cannot necessarily predict. You call them battleground states. Until the votes from them come in, it will be unsafe now. In fact, it is taken that Trump will still get at least 80 votes. So even if he scores 200, 220, many watchers will still be watching on